All right, so let's begin with our lecture on our first part of our lecture on the Spanish conquest of the Americas. So, as you probably remember from your elementary school, it all begins with Columbus in 1492 arriving in the Caribbean. And the first people he meets are known as the Taino people, and they are quite friendly and welcoming. However, the relationship deteriorates very quickly as the Spanish begin insulting and enslaving the Tainos in their search for gold. The Spanish had a significant technological advantage over these native populations, particularly with their advanced firearms and steel armor. But they also brought horses, which are much larger and more powerful than any of the native pack animals that the natives have. And tragically, the thing that makes them the most powerful are their diseases. The Spanish had been living with near livestock for hundreds, if not thousands of years. They have all survived. The ones who are alive have survived the Black Death, and they have immunity to all kinds of diseases. And the people in the Americas have lived largely free of any of those diseases, and so they have no immunity to them and are devastated once the Spanish begin to arrive, spreading their diseases. So the next up on our list is Hernan Cortez. So he is already, by 1519, he is living in Cuba and takes a force of about 600 men to try to conquer the Aztec kingdom, and lands in Mexico and makes his way towards Tenochtitlan, the capital. His main companion is the most important member of his party is a woman named Malache, or as the Spanish called her, Donna Maria. She is an indigenous woman who serves as his translator throughout the campaign. Now, she is able to allow the Spanish to strategically ally with the people that the Aztecs had conquered. The Aztec Empire has spread out. They've conquered a lot of the other groups in the area. They used members of those groups for their human sacrifices. So there's a lot of resentment against the Aztecs. And Malinche is able to, or Donna Maria is able to capitalize on that and get all of those people to ally with the Spanish. Moctezuma II is the Aztec emperor, and when he's faced with a dilemma when he hears about Cortez, according to the Aztec prophecy, the legendary feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl was supposed to return from the east, and Moctezuma is unsure initially if the Spanish were the fulfillment of this prophecy or not. His initial response is to send lavish gifts to the Spanish, hoping to appease them and to avoid contact. However, Cortez is determined to reach the Spanish capital, the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, setting up a stage for an encounter between the two civilizations. Now, Moctezuma, the Aztec ruler, initially welcomes Cortez and the Spanish conquistadors into the city. However, this hospitality soon turns to betrayal as Cortez kidnaps him and demands a massive gold ransom. Faced with this threat, Moctezuma is forced to surrender, ceding land and treasure to the Spanish, and this marks the beginning of the fall of the mighty Aztec Empire at the hands of the Spanish invaders. Now, the Inca Empire was a little further south, the Inca Empire is vast, covering much of the Andes Mountains until the arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century. One of the key events of the downfall was the civil war between the two sons of the previous ruler. Now, this had left the empire weakened and divided, and the Inca by now, even though there aren't a lot of Europeans in the area, they've already been infected by much of the Spanish diseases. So when the Spanish conquistador Pizarro takes advantage of this turmoil, he's able to capture the Inca ruler Atahualpa with merely 200 men, following the same playbook that Pizarro had followed it with Moctezuma years earlier. And after months of captivity, Atahualpa is eventually executed by Pizarro, solidifying the Spanish conquest of the Inca Empire. Now, further down in what is today Brazil, the Portuguese establish a presence in the early 16th century, claiming land by allowing royals or making land grants to nobles. These nobles would then develop the land and share their profits from the exports of Brazil wood with the Portuguese crown. Now, Brazil doesn't have the gold that the Spanish holdings do, but they will have they are rich agricultural areas. So plantation agriculture becomes established because you need to clear off a lot of wood and natural forest to plant this Brazil wood and later on other plants, and they begin relying on slave labor, both African American and native labor. And Brazil's natural resources, including Brazil wood, were a major draw for the Portuguese who exploit the colony's agricultural potential. So as you can see on this table, in the Caribbean, the Taino population is decimated under Spanish rule. In Mexico, the Aztec Empire falls to the Spanish. In Peru, the Inca Empire is quickly conquered by the Spanish. And in Brazil, the Portuguese establish a plantation colony. And these examples illustrate the widespread and devastating impacts of European colonization across the Americas. And we'll continue in part two to look at how the Spanish then governed this new empire.